The boys are back. Browns are 4-2. Kyle, Dennis, how we feeling, boys? Feeling pretty high?
Mixed emotions, honestly.
Right.
We got the win, but we also lost our quarterback for probably 2 more weeks.
Hey, it's the W's and L's that mean most. At least they found a
Yep.
way to win again. I don't know how they won that game. Back-to-back weeks, we're saying I don't know how we won that game. That might be the first time in our fandom history. Probably is, honestly. We're back-to-back weeks. We think, how the hell did we just win that game? Couldn't tell you how many times we said, how did we lose that game? But Deshaun's down, but 4 wins, 2 losses. That is massive. If it was flip-flop, season's dead. I wouldn't even be talking about it.
Yep.
How'd you feel at the end of that game, Dennis?
Super stressed out. Even more stressed out than San Francisco, bro. Especially with the high scoring. Like, it's just one after another. Like after that broken play where Myles went off sides, I'm like, it's gonna be that kind of game.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Literally. I'm like, yep, that's not gonna be that kind of game. And then ended up 39-38. So,
dude, that's like I feel like the last time a game. I guess there's been a few, like the Cowboys game a couple years ago when Odell went crazy. That was a really high scoring win. The Steelers playoff game was crazy.
yep.
But like it almost gave me flashbacks to it was like 2007. It was week 1 against the Bengals. We won like 52-48 or something. Derek Anderson had like 5-6 touchdowns.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Braylon Edwards went off. I think Joe Jurevicius. But it's been so long since we saw one like that. And yeah, I mean, I know I was watching with Kyle and some friends and family, and those last 4 plays took about 10 years off Kyle's life. I know that, and pretty much everyone around him. Kyle's yelling there for first down, run the fucking ball.
Oh my god.
Wyatt Teller agreed with me. He was screaming at the sidelines, run the fucking ball. I was saying the same thing. You got they're like, oh, you're out of timeouts. If you can't get up and run 2 plays in 50 seconds, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I liked in the I shouldn't say post game, but I think it was today or yesterday. Kareem Hunt came out and said that was the longest yard of my life.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet.
No kidding, dude. And they still got it by half a year. Like the ball just crossed before he got pushed back. If his knee would have just tapped the ground, like, man,
I would have been in shambles.
It just made it so much harder than it needed to be. Like,
Right.
You could have given Kareem the ball on first or second down, touchdown. Like, I'll bet more times than not he scores.
Yeah, and like it truly is the game of inches. I mean, if you think about it, the last 2 weeks we are maybe a combined foot from being 2-4.
Literally.
Yep.
A combined foot. I mean,
the margins are so small, bro.
Yeah, if you don't count the crossbar, I guess that football was literally maybe a foot or 2 outside, and then Kareem was in by maybe 6 inches. Like, it's just wild. But
Yeah.
I mean, if we didn't have Myles Garrett on our team, we lose that game by 21 points.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever seen a defensive player go out and literally win someone a game like that.
The thing that's so annoying is every time you bring it up, you get, oh, TJ this. Just appreciate them both. Like, they're both fucking great. Stop bitching and enjoy it.
Dennis was getting hounded this week on Twitter.
Yeah,
it's annoying.
I was going to war.
Dennis, you were literally that meme of Drewski. Stand on business, one-man army.
Yeah, I stand on business.
One-man army. Every post. Poor Dennis was just trying to shout out Myles, and I look, and he's got 40 replies all yelling at him. He's like, just leave me alone, please.
Like, they're like cockroaches, bro. They won't go away. Like, one after another. Like,
it's so weird.
They'll find you. It's like somebody sending, like, to a group chat or something. They all just, like, reply.
It's just weird. I've never sought out a TJ Watt stat and commented on it.
Me either. Like, I don't really care. We don't care.
I think he's a beast.
We don't care.
He's
we
good.
Don't care about
it's 1A, 1B. Like,
literally.
It might just be it might just be the helmet incident that it's probably just from that day on. They were like, yeah, fuck this guy.
Which I mean is fair, but it is what it is.
Yeah, he's never done anything else bad in his life. Like,
nope.
And according to him, something was said that shouldn't have been said, blah, blah, blah. But, dude, that shout out Myles, first of all. Second of all, shout out Kareem.
Yep.
I put a couple stats about it this week. I was looking on Monday, a couple crazy stats. That was his first 2-touchdown game since, I think, week 1 of 2021.
He deserves it.
Yeah, dude. And I think maybe a second double touchdown game. It was something crazy, but it was just awesome to know that like a couple weeks ago he might have just called it a year and said, maybe I'll try again next year. And now he's literally winning winning his hometown team football games on the last play of the game. Like it's so cool that he came back and he's getting to produce like this. And it sucks. It's unfortunate in the way that it happened, of course, but if you could find like blessings in dark times, like it's been pretty wild seeing him come in and just RB1.
He's literally living every kid's childhood dream that played sports. Like your goal is to play for your hometown team.
Yeah. And to be able to do it, like get a second chance at it, no one gets that. Like that's so rare.
It's so hard to make it in NFL and then go back after already getting cut. That's crazy.
Especially as a running back.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess while we're on him, let's just start discussing the main topics. Like, as everyone knows now, Jerome Ford, it's kind of another sloppy timeline. I mean, at first it was a week or two. Now it's already said minimum weeks. It didn't even say minimum 2 weeks. Mary Kay just said minimum weeks. Like, this could be a 3-week thing, a 4-week thing if it doesn't heal. And you just never know with high ankle sprains. Those are finicky. So now
Jeremy Fowler. Jeremy Fowler did say they won't place him on IR, but you never know. High ankle sprain, you get one wrong cut, bam, back to square one.
Yeah, it's just the fact that IR is 4 weeks. This injury is like that would be like the ceiling you'd hope. So they probably don't want to screw themselves. But I mean, now we got Kareem, Pierre Strong, and then would they bring Wilkins back and McCrary on the P squad?
Nate McCrary and Jordan Wilkins.
Yeah, and I didn't realize McCrary was a Saginaw State kid in Michigan. That's where.
Really?
Yeah, we had a family friend go there and play football, but he's a big dude. He looked pretty jacked when I was looking him up. I forgot he'd been on and off our practice squad, but
yeah, I heard the name. I was forgot what he looked like.
I'm actually excited to see Pierre Strong. Like I thought he looked pretty good when he got the ball on Sunday.
He looked flashy.
Yeah, he's super fast.
Yeah, he had I saw people saying that was the first Browns cutback I've seen since Chubb went out. He had a couple plays. Where he cut up the gut, and this is the most insane comparison I'm about to make. But like the 2-second window of him cutting back and just the accelerating, I was like a weird little flash of Jamal Charles, which obviously he's nothing close to Jamal Charles, but like the movement he had, I was like, damn, you could work with that. Someone could make that work,
right?
And I'm cool. I mean, it's fine with me giving him a chance. He's a pretty good receiving back too, isn't he? Isn't he like a freak athlete in college?
Yep.
He was insane in college at South Dakota State, I think.
Yep. Jackrabbits.
Yeah. Yep. So I guess I'll ask you first, Dennis. How do you feel like? So you got Jerome Ford out. You got Kareem Hunt. He's 28. He's playing on one leg. Now you got second up Pierre Strong. He's had 4 or 5 plays, showing glimpses. Like, are you cool with going into Seattle like this? Like, I mean, there's no way they make another move, right? Is this just what it is?
They could make one. I mean, I think I'm comfortable with Hunt and Pierre for now. So I think they need to make a move. Hopefully that doesn't cost them like a high draft pick or like a player, but I doubt it'll be a player, but I don't know. I know Derrick Henry's name gets flown around right now. But I don't know how realistic that is, like a Derrick Henry, but I don't know.
What about you, Kyle? How are you feeling about running back?
I mean, they're one move away from being down. Like, say Kareem goes down, you're down to being a running back room that has maybe 50 carries, if that, between them.
Of experience, yeah.
Yeah, like you almost have to do something. And I think that answer is in Tennessee. As unrealistic as that might seem, one to make your quarterback's life a lot easier, getting a running. You can say, oh, Derrick Henry's washed, whatever. Still averaging 4.3 yards a carry. Like, that is not washed.
Their line's not very good.
Behind this offensive line, he'd probably average 5 yards a carry, or at least close to it.
Yeah, I feel like the O-line's been a little iffy this year, up and down, but like the last 2 weeks, it's really stepped the fuck up and starting to look like the way it's supposed to look.
Oh, yeah.
If you look at it this way, let's just say we trade like a 4th, 5th round pick and maybe a pick next year to Tennessee, and they eat some of the money, sign me up. Like, for a 1-year rental.
Yeah, I don't know if I would do. I don't think I would do a 3rd unless we got like a 4th in return. But if they were like
Something.
5 and 6 and we'll throw in a 7 back, I was like, dude, I don't know. I know it's a rental, but the term rental is just a weird term because if that rental leads you to the AFC Championship, like, wasn't it worth it? You never even been to one. It wasn't worth that 5th round pick you gave up. That's why it's like people are always like, oh, rental, no, rental, no. It's like, okay, sometimes rentals lead to a team winning it all. Like there
I
is
think the perfect example is the Rams and Odell. Look at him down their playoff stretch. He carried them.
He did.
Yeah, and I mean, and people talk as well about the, the Rams kind of set the standard with going all in. They got a Super Bowl out of it. Nothing will ever matter because they got that Super Bowl. If it's one and done, that's pretty common in football unless you're the Tom Brady Patriots.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm not scared of stuff like that. And I trust that AB will find other ways to bring picks back. I mean, he gave up a 3rd-string quarterback for a 5th round pick.
Right.
Yep.
There you go right there. You already got yourself an extra one to work with. And if he turns Josh Dobbs into Derrick Henry, like you look at that timeline of how the trade worked out, I don't think anybody would complain.
Plus, if you think of it this way, I think there's an actual real possibility that Glenn Cook or Catherine Rashi, however you pronounce her last name, they both get jobs and you get 3rd-round picks right there.
Right.
Like, I don't think that's crazy that at least one of them gets a job next year.
Right.
Not at all, dude. Yeah, not at all.
Glenn Cook got 1 or 2 interviews.
Yeah, he's been in interviews the last couple off seasons.
Yeah. Like, it's only a matter of time.
And you know, like AB's thinking ahead that way.
Oh yeah,
100%.
Sure.
He's already forecasting years ahead of possible movement in this and how they could. Right. He's always looking. It's like someone who invests and has like different streams of revenue. That's like how AB works out. He's like, I got this here. I could do this. I got this opportunity here. I got this guy. This contract's coming off. This contract's adjusted. Like that's why he gets paid to handle that. We get paid to be fans and root for it, and he gets paid to do all the dirty work.
Exactly.
How can you game the system and get a competitive advantage any way you can?
Right.
Yeah.
Is essentially how it is.
Before we kind of move on, we also got to shout out Dustin Hopkins. I get
real D-Hop.
Dude, I was getting scared like tweeting about him. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna jinx him. I get scared even praising a kicker because like the jinx. But man, this dude, he just goes out. Bro. He walks out to a 58-yard field goal like it's nothing. Like he's just going to the fridge to grab a beer. Right. He looks like he's not even in a game. He just trots out, emotionless face. He hits it and he just walks off the field. Like,
which is crazy. It's crazy about how he's making all these 50-yard field goals because for his career he was 50%. Like I think he was 15 of 31 or 15 of 30 before he came here. Exactly. Now he's 7 of 7.
That's insane, bro. Like how? Like I don't.
He's the only kicker in NFL history to hit a 50+ yarder in 5 straight games. That's wild.
That's crazy. Bro.
Yeah, dude,
that's insane.
He's already second in Browns history in 50-yard field goals.
That's
in 6 games.
And his only 2 misses were like 47 and 46 in like the rain.
Right.
Yeah, with sideways rain and monsoon winds. But no, when I saw the stat about him being second in 50-yard field goals, I was like, wow. That is in insane. 6 games. And he's made as many 50-yard field goals, I think, this year almost as we've made as a team in like the last 3 years before that. It's something crazy. There's some insane stats wrapped around him. It's like,
oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, dude.
There's people out there genuinely throwing a fit because we traded a 7th-round pick for a kicker. Like, how many 7th-round picks pan out to stick on the roster? Like, not very many.
Yeah. No, I looking back, I know people like to nitpick like AB and the front office and moves they make, like him swallowing his pride and trading York and bringing in Hopkins. Yep. Like you talk about the game of inches. Like we might be 1-5 without Dustin Hopkins.
Literally.
Yep.
You could be 1-5.
He carried us last game.
Like you never know.
And
like
the game before that.
You think of just even like the Bengals game where it was like a sound win, or like the Titans game where it was kind of chippy at the beginning. The way momentum works in football, if he goes out and biffs a field goal early, like after the offense just drove down or something like that could fuck with the team like big time. And like having a rookie kicker like York, who when a kicker's confidence is shot, dude, you got to cut it.
And I think I think now that we're on it, we're talking about kickers. I think it's fair to say Corey Bojorquez being the holder was not the problem.
No.
Dude, I thought
Everyone blamed. He was catching strays for no reason.
on the radio, online, it was crazy, bro.
Yeah, that never even made sense to me. Wasn't there some trend back to his old team?
There's people that said like Mason Crosby and someone else struggled with him as a holder, and sure, like correlation does not always equal causation.
Yeah. No. Kate, I mean, when you read a report that Cade York missed 10 straight field goals in practice, and it's nothing the holder's doing. Yeah, you're mentally cooked.
Like bad cooked.
Yeah. And, I wish him the best of luck, but the AB did what he had to do, and it was an incredible move, and it's literally translating to winning football games.
I think we need to talk about how insane, like Myles Garrett blocking that field goal. I don't think people realize how hard it is to jump over another grown man in pads from a stance like that. You're not human.
Kyle, you could do it. Just got to really try.
Yeah, bro. Box jump.
You might just tear both your hamstrings.
Yeah.
No, that was crazy.
Hamstrings and break my arm.
That happened so fast too. Like I looked down to like grab my drink and looked up and was like, oh, what? And I just saw him in midair. And then in my mind, I'm like, oh, they're going to throw a flag because he had to have gone over the center. But like he went over the guard.
Well, I think Wyatt was talking about it. They tried it in practice, and he's like, well, how low do you want me to stand? And he goes, don't get like too low. Just stand normally how you do in a game. And he goes, sure enough, he goes up and over. I was like, that's you're a freak if you can do that.
Yeah, dude. He's on his way to going down as probably the best Cleveland Brown ever, other than Jim Brown.
Yep.
Him and Nick Chubb, yep.
He might already be there.
He is one of one.
I mean, if you think of top 5 all time, you obviously I got to be careful too because I wasn't around the 70s and 80s, and I know there's some great players that go under the radar. But like obviously, you have Jim Brown, you got Phil Dawson, you got Joe Thomas.
The only edge rusher that's even close is like Clay Matthews, and that was in the 70s. I'm pretty sure.
But then you got to think Myles Garrett will be a bona fide, unanimous first ballot Hall of Famer. Like,
I think he's already. I don't want to jinx it, but he might already be there.
Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer.
Very close.
His resume is insane.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's going to get that Defensive Player of the Year this year, too.
He needs that, dude.
I mean, he's definitely going to be up there if he keeps this up.
He's got to stay healthy and just keep producing.
Yeah, we got to win, too. So.
Yeah, stay relevant, stay healthy. I mean, he had the helmet incident the one year, it ruined everything. Then he had the injury the next year, and it ruined everything. He missed like 4 games. Like,
also, what's never helped him is we've never had a good defense. Like, you're not going to win it on a bad defense, probably.
I know. Even if you do carry, like, there's just nothing.
Nope.
There's nothing you can do about it.
It's the same thing with like MVP in basketball. Like, if you're great, you might not win it if you're on a terrible team. Even if you put up the numbers, it doesn't matter.
No, you won't. You literally won't. There's got to be some sort of winning that comes from it.
Yep.
But let's move on to the next topic, which is the Black Cloud. We still can't stop talking about it. He obviously wasn't ready to play, or whatever you want to call it. There's conspiracy theories flying. I think the 2 interceptions he threw were just terrible, awful decisions. I also think that he probably couldn't really have zip on it like he wanted to, but they must have seen in practice all week that he had zip. So I don't think you can just fully blame it on that. Cavs' first possession of the year, Donovan Mitchell just pulled up and drained a 3.
Nice.
But yeah, dude, he went out and like we were out at a bar watching, and the vibes were just dead. Like we were like, oh, well, we're gonna lose again. The Colts just came out hot, and I just think no matter what, like we've had him through 10 games, and it's just been bad. We have 1 good game to look back on, and you can't blame it all on the injury. But now, obviously, we can only look forward. We got PJ Walker starting this week. I'm glad we're doing the pod tonight because now we know Watson has been ruled out, which I said is in a weird way. It's kind of made me feel better. Like we have clarity early in the week. The guys have clarity in gamesmanships, whatever. If the Seahawks aren't preparing for him to be in or out, they shouldn't be an NFL team. It doesn't change anything. Right. So, I just want to know your guys' thoughts. Like, do you give in to any of the excuses? Do you think it was all because of the shoulder? Do you blame the team? Like, how do you feel about it all, Dennis? Like, what are your thoughts on this whole thing?
I don't know. It's just like it seemed like what like came out was like they both would like wanted to try and see, but I feel like deep down like he never really should have played. Like I think they're just trying to force it too much. Like I don't know. Like I want to try to get out there and like go out and for your team, you're out a couple weeks, but if you're not right, you don't have zip. Like why even go out there? Like you can tell like his first pass, like there's nothing on that pass. There was nothing on it.
And do you think that? I mean, I'll ask if you think this, but I feel like it's a unanimous thing the Browns kind of know now, and Browns fans. But like, do you think that this has now become a mental thing? Like, is he mentally getting cooked?
Maybe. I hope not. But look, I mean, it kind of looks like that way.
Kind of looks like it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Kind of.
What do you think, Kyle?
I mean, it was interesting that he said, I'm not going to go out there if I'm going to hurt my team. Well, kind of looks like he did because he said it himself. I threw 5 pass plays. Like, that's not enough to get in rhythm. But on the flip side, like, you threw 5 pass plays and you should have had 2 interceptions. Like, one of them was dropped. You did not look like himself. But it's getting to, like, the territory where you got to start to see results and you can't just keep saying, oh, well, when he's healthy, this, that, and the other. Obviously, we all want him to be healthy. Life would be a lot simpler if he was healthy. He wishes he was healthy. Everyone does, but it's just not that simple anymore. With as much you can say, contract doesn't matter, picks don't matter, et cetera, 100% fair, whichever way you feel on it. But the bottom line is, we've seen 10 games in 3 years from him. At some point, you got to see something to justify 1, paying, 2, trading the picks, and 3, just destroying everything, all the good merits you build up, like in the community with the fan base. Something's got to change at some point.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's tough to know like how much clarity the team actually has because, again, they don't need to tell us anything. But like I feel as fans, maybe this week we have a little more clarity about it. But like he won't talk to the media. Maybe there's nothing he could say. But like still, like just come out and talk. Like you're the leader of this franchise. You're the face. Just come out and be like, hey guys, I tried to give it a go. I thought I could help my team. I quickly realized I couldn't, and the pain was still there. And I know he had the interview after the game where he said coach took him out and he respects that decision. I think that was big of him to say. I was actually glad he said that. I'm like, okay. And it's weird. It's weird to ask a guy to have accountability when it's an injury. I don't think accountability is the right word, but like just be open, I guess.
Right.
And
transparent.
Transparent. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that's the word. And like if they don't have the clarity they need, I mean, the deadline's quickly approaching. Like, if he's just going to keep coming out and the shoulder's not going to be 100% this year, doesn't matter. It's not going to be.
That's what people don't understand. Like,
so you're running with PJ? You running with PJ the rest of the year?
You can't.
You're not winning with Pete. You're punting the year. Like let's say you escape with 10, 11 wins because your defense carries you. You're going to get your ass kicked by Mahomes or whoever, probably Burrow in the playoffs maybe. Like, you're not winning a shootout.
Yeah, and like I know, let's just say it. The name we're all thinking of is, Jacoby. Sorry, I thought I had him on these slides here, but like, do you go look? You go look for that guy? Like.
I just don't like
if
you're not out there looking for that guy, you're kind of being negligent to your team.
Well, you know how Mary Kay sprinkles her seeds,
right?
Yep.
There's some seeds sprinkled today.
Right before the show.
Yeah, dude, and it's like Jacoby's the name. I'm not really interested in any other quarterback because any other quarterback you bring in, they're gonna have to learn the system. They have to learn the guys. They're gonna have to learn the receivers. Jacoby played with everybody last year besides Elijah Moore.
Right.
Like he looked pretty good with them. He was winning his football games.
11 touchdowns, 6 picks, and he didn't really. He like the talent around him was fine, but Elijah Moore is way different. His wide receiver 2 last year was DPJ.
Right.
Yeah, and like he didn't have a defense that he could rely on last year.
Nope. If they got behind, they weren't winning.
No. And now like we have more of an offense where like we can play from ahead and we can kind of control the game, with the defense being able to rely on the defense more to give us that chance that we didn't have that last year.
Do you have that excerpt from Mary Kay that you can read that she posted just recently?
Yeah, let me look.
I just think it's interesting the wording she used. And normally when she says something, it's not just pulling it out of left field.
You texted it to us, right?
Yeah.
If the Browns decide over the next week they need a veteran backup, they could likely pry Jacoby Brissett from the Commanders. Brissett knows the Browns' offense and personnel as well as any other quarterback in the league, and would make an enormous sense as the backup to his close friend Deshaun. Yeah, and like in that wording alone, like Jacoby is the ultimate pros pro, the ultimate teammate. Like he's not going to come in. I mean, he went to the Commanders knowing he's going to back up
Sam Howell.
I almost said Matt Howell. Sam Howell. Like, he's not going to come here being like, give me the starting reps. Let me go win this. Like, he'll literally be the guy that'll be like, when Watson is ready, I am on the bench. No questions asked. I know my role. You need guys like that. Not that PJ doesn't, but, like, I think PJ would agree if he was talking to his friends that, like, he's being put in a position where he was not – that's not a position a guy like him should be put in.
Like, back-to-back weeks, he got no reps, which is another thing. Why on earth did PJ Walker not get a single first-team rep Thursday or Friday? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I don't get it.
Did Watson look that good in practice that they weren't worried?
Yeah, but even if he did, you're just
I'm asking.
Like with your who knows? With your shoulder, you're just not. You're not doing yourself a service, not being prepared.
Yeah, like I don't know. Would you look into a Jacoby trade, Dennis? Is that something that you think they should consider?
Yeah, they should. They should trade for him. They should have already traded for him or tried to. It's just
you're all in on Jacoby train.
Yeah, just too much on the line, bro. Like you have this defense. Like you have the guys that you acquired in the off season. Like you don't want to waste like a year like that. PJ Walker. I'm sorry. Like PJ's a good guy. Like he did his best the last 2 weeks. He's 2-0, but it's not sustainable. It's not.
Well, like look at it this way: one, everyone's gonna get older, and two, like as we know with sports, nothing next year's not guaranteed.
Right.
Like your defense might not ever be this good again. Do everything
they might not be this good again next week.
Right.
Yeah,
it's literally a week to week.
Right.
That's how it is.
Yep.
And I think the biggest thing is, you know, like we kind of already covered, but when you put it in another perspective, like they are 4-2. They probably shouldn't be 4-2.
Nope.
You have to take advantage of the position we are in.
Yep.
Like on a lot of other planets, this team is not 4-2. They're probably 2-4.
Yep.
Like honestly, and
let me
go ahead.
Let me ask you this: the next 2 weeks, we got Seattle and the Cardinals. How do they finish with PJ Walker? Let's assume PJ's starting both weeks.
1-1.
I think that's the safe answer. Yeah, 1-1. I think they could
fair.
go 2-0 though. Like the Seahawks have not impressed. Their offense has been sloppy, dude. DK's. They said he's going to play, but he's not 100%. There's no way.
Let's say you get to 5. You get to 5, or what would it be? It'd be 6-2. You win the next 2. You're 6-2. You got to win 5 games out of the next 9 to make the playoffs. I don't think that's crazy. 11-6.
Not at all.
Yeah, I don't think if you're already 6-2, yeah.
Yeah, that gives you a lot more flexibility with what you want to do.
Right.
Like if you win this week, the trade deadline's on Tuesday. They're going to have some decisions to make. Like what direction would you go?
So that leads me into the next question. You got to give a grade for Kevin, A through F. Kyle, so far this season.
Other than the DTR start against Baltimore disaster.
No, that adds in.
Oh, it does. But
all together.
I'm gonna throw it out just given
Okay.
everything surrounding it. I'll say B+. Like I think he's given the circumstances, he's done about all he could.
Same. I'm a B+. Dennis, are you as high? Or?
Hey, I quoted you guys when I told you. I said a B. I think the guys are open. Like we know that. Like Elijah Moore is getting separation. He's open. It kind of seems like the same issues in New York right now. Unfortunately, I'm kind of glad he's not lashing out here. But yeah, he's 4-2 with PJ Walker starting the last 2 games. So,
you know what the crazy thing about that is though? He's still on pace for like a career high in yards, and he's not been great by any means. but he's still on pace for like 650 to 700 yards.
Right.
I'd take that all day.
Yeah, the yardage thing, in a way, you got to kind of – there is the extra game, which does help. But, like, still, from the beginning, people just want retweets and likes. But they're posting Elijah Moore like he's going to come in and be freaking Jerry Rice. I'm like, he's just not – that's not the guy he's going to be for you.
Right.
Debo. That's no. If you expected him to be Debo, you set yourself up.
No. And, like, people are like, maybe – and I was like, in a dream scenario, he would be like a Percy Harvin type guy, which would be fucking awesome. Now we're realizing the running part is not a thing, so we're going to kind of get away from that. But, like, you bring that guy in for a pick, and, like, we've given the Colts win to a couple of people, but that catch he made up the sideline was not an easy catch, and it was in a tiny window. And, like, credit to PJ for throwing that freaking dime, but credit to Elijah Moore for making that play.
Dude, like PJ, like in those like crucial moments, like against like San Fran and against like the Colts, like that last drive, he's like money. Like it's
Dude.
like it's insane. Like the other series doesn't do shit, and then like when we need it, it's like either flags or like just a great throw. He makes it. So,
but and it's crazy thinking because like think back to our old friend number 6, like he was the opposite of that. He'd make plays, and then you need to rely on him in the end, and you're like, what the fuck happened?
Right, exactly. Interception or turnover on down.
And like, we're a good enough team. We have a good enough defense that like we can almost fuck off 3/4 of the game, and then the last 2 weeks, it's literally come down to one possession. Like, all right, no matter what happened today, no matter all the bullshit, we missed this, we did this, we got this. They can win right now, and they've done it. They went and won. In the chances they had and the time they needed, they went and won the games when they needed to. And like that's also a credit to Stefanski. Yep. You know, that he's the one leading those drives. He's the one calling those plays. He's the one scheming it up. He's the one that's got to go on the fly and trust that PJ Walker is going to throw to this guy and this guy. I mean, he can't even throw a freaking slant.
Exactly.
So I mean, to a point, you don't want to make excuses, but you kind of have to.
I think the issue with PJ, and I think Jake Burns said it, he just struggles at reading the field sometimes. Like, he's got the arm. He's not 6'2", 6'3", whatever. He's 5'11". But he doesn't see everything, which is fine. Like, he's a backup quarterback for a reason.
Right.
Yeah. But at some point, your luck is going to run out.
Yep, I agree.
You're not going to be able to skate by every week.
Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, we could sit and argue. I think we don't need to sit and argue about the flags we got. Like, I think the one on Amari was clearly a flag. You can't tackle a receiver when he's by you. You know?
Yeah, I think that one's for sure a flag.
The one on DPJ is close. It was uncatchable technically, but like he reached out and he almost got a finger on it. So
after the officials saying the quarterback's allowed to be hit in the head because he's a runner, I don't feel bad. Yeah, helmet to helmet in the playoffs against Kansas City, don't feel bad.
Right.
Like so many times. Bottlegate, like you name it, Browns fans have seen it.
Yep.
Yeah, I just think that NFL fans and fans of other teams are just seeing those clips that are going viral, like, whoa, Browns won this game late because this, and that's all they see. And they're like, oh, Browns got the easy win. Like, they don't really know the history of us getting fucked over.
They don't care either, but they're trying to blame us.
You get Jim Irsay running his mouth, who's influential in like the NFL owner circle, and that guy's a jackass. But that's another point.
Didn't they say he could get fined for speaking out?
Oh, 100%.
He can, yeah.
He will. Like, that's private.
Yeah.
He's probably all coked up doing that.
He probably is. I mean, most owners probably are. Yeah. So I think we said all we need to say about the Colts game, and knowing the squad we got going in, you're going into Seattle, which is notorious for being a tough place to play. It's going to be loud. It's going to be crazy.
The 12th man.
Yeah, the 12th man, but I think let me double check their record. They haven't really.
All I know is the jerseys they're wearing Sunday are insane.
Yeah, I don't know how anyone is saying that these aren't cool. These are the most beautiful things.
They're awesome.
let's see. At home, they are 1-1. They're 2-1 at home, so it's not really much you can measure. Rams went in week 1 without Cooper Kupp and dropped 30 on him.
Remember that.
Lions dropped 31 on him. Panthers went in and dropped 27 on him. Bengals just beat him. Cardinals dropped 10 on him at home with a practice squad team. The last 2 weeks, they've had a lot lower scoring. I think the Bengals game was crappy weather and maybe last week, but their defense, it seems like their defense is starting to – they've given up 3, 17, 10. So, I mean, their defense is starting to turn it around. You're going with P.J. Walker and Kareem Hunt, leading the train, you could say. So I don't know what that looks like.
Right.
Are you going to get 3 turnovers on a defensive touchdown again? Probably not.
No, you're not.
You can't rely on that.
Yep.
Could this be a 27-7 loss? Yeah. It's just the facts. You could go on flat, go down 14 early, and just call it a day. This team hasn't done that yet, though. So I don't know.
Kenneth Walker's a stud, but Seattle's offensive line, not that good.
No, and Geno has regressed from last year.
Shocker.
Right.
I think he just caught lightning in a bottle, which is good for him.
He will make bad throws, though. And, you can't do that against his defense.
Nope.
I think it's another game. We could go grab 2-3 turnovers. Let's see. He's thrown 4 interceptions in the past 3 weeks. He had
how many of those were in one game?
He had 1 versus Carolina, 2 versus Cincinnati, 1 versus Arizona.
So 3 straight games to pick.
Yeah.
We need to pick 6 bad.
And with the trio of DBs we have, you're gonna get picked off in the safeties. You have Juan now, who's literally a center fielder. And Grant will make plays too. Yep. He's more of a bruiser. He'll come up and play the line and play the tight ends, but we got to defense. Can't make mistakes.
Have they said if Taki's expected to be back this week? Because I think they missed him. They missed him last week.
I don't think he practiced today, so we'll see tomorrow.
That's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's that sure tackler that'll just be in the right spot at the right time.
The run game, he just comes up and hits people.
Yeah, he smacks people.
Yeah, and I think with our defense, I saw people still ranking him number 1. You can't, no matter how good your defense is, you're gonna have off weeks. It's just how it goes. You can't play great every week. You just can't. The league's too advanced now. There's too many great players, too many great athletes. I mean, 2 of the plays we gave up long touchdowns were on offsides where it was just a dump. First of all, they need to know that if a flag is thrown, don't stop playing.
Right.
So they literally had 2 plays where they just gave up touchdowns for nothing.
Yeah, I don't get that.
No, it didn't make sense to me at all. But, I mean, they still won, so who cares? But, I mean, let's do our predictions. Have you thought of one yet, Dennis?
Oh yeah.
What do you have a heart, an answer from your heart, and an answer from your head, or are you pretty aligned?
I'm pretty aligned. I think we lose this week, unfortunately.
Sure.
Seattle, one of the toughest places to play NFL. They have those jerseys out. I know the Colts had theirs out last week, but I think we lose one this week, unfortunately. I'm gonna go. I think I said 24, 17.
Dude, that's so weird. The number I have in my head right now is I'm expecting a loss as well, unfortunately. I'm gonna say 20-16. I think we get 3 field goals and a touchdown. I think we score 16 points.
See, I won't even go as far to say a score prediction because I don't know how it's going to go. It could be a blowout, could be a close game, but my gut says whoever wins a turnover battle is going to win the game, and it's going to be 1 possession. So whatever way that goes, so be it.
Sorry, I'm just looking at the betting line. Let's see what it's at right now. Browns plus 3.5. I might have to take that. I could see us losing a 3-point game. The over-under is set at 38. I think the over-under last week was set at 39, and
39
we,
and
we,
a half.
we covered the over
Right.
ourselves, so you just never know. Money line's plus 154. Yeah, I mean, Vegas expects Seattle to win. But they expect a close game. And I think it'll be a close game too, because like I said, Seattle's offense is just not they haven't put it together yet. They're pretty choppy. They're sloppy. Like Kaz said, their line's just nothing special. Gino makes mistakes. He hasn't been on. I still think they're trying to find a way to like blend Jackson Smith and Jigba in. It's kind of been awkward trying to get him going. Their tight ends are DK's hobbled. There's no way he's going to be 100% for this game.
Why was he hurt last year again? I mean, last week.
Hamstring, I think.
He had a hamstring. Oh,
I'm pretty sure.
That was the first game he's ever missed.
oh
Yep.
wow.
Yeah. So you know it's not serious.
Right.
And the's just no way he's 100% yet, especially if it's a hammy.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure he wants to be out there, especially in those jerseys.
Yeah. I'd go out there and wear those jerseys.
Right. Exactly.
Let's see.
That's the one thing though about this defense. It doesn't matter who you could have like prime Jerry Rice and Randy Moss lined up out there, and they still have the mentality we're gonna kick your ass every play.
Yep. The Jim Shorts effect, bro.
Yep.
He's dealing with a hip injury.
Oh, hip injury.
Ah,
That's even worse.
I think so. I don't see what exactly the injury was though.
He was like a
So-
late inactive, right? I thought he was gonna play.
Yeah,
I
I think
he was game time decision.
Yeah, he was ruled out literally right at the end.
That's what I thought.
Let me look him up on Sleeper real quick because they have really good breakdowns. DK Metcalf. Ribs and hip. Yeah, he has 2 separate injuries.
Oh wow.
Forgot about that. He was considered a game-time decision with a hip and rib injury. Despite being able to log limited practice time, he is unable to suit up Sunday against the Cardinals. Head coach Pete Carroll said Monday that his status is to be determined for Week 8 against Cleveland. They like to keep their injury status as close to the vest, so monitoring his practice participation is the best way to know. They'll probably list him as questionable, and it could be a game-time decision. Blah, 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 blah,
Is
blah.
that for DK?
Remains limited. Yeah, he practiced limited today. But he practiced limited last week,
Yeah.
and he didn't play.
Yep.
And, I mean, you look at McCaffrey and Debo and football injuries or whatever, you could literally just fall wrong, and it has nothing to do with it. But, like, this defense is hitting people, dude.
Oh yeah, bro.
Yep.
You don't think they're going to throw a helmet right in his ribs? He's going to get hit. He's a big
for
dude,
sure.
but he's going to take
Grand Delta smacking him.
Look what they did to CMC.
Yeah. Juan and Grant.
Yep.
Silver bullets. Ohio State type shit.
Yeah.
The white bullets, if they'd wear those white helmets. Yeah, they should have wore the white throwbacks in Seattle against
That would have been
these.
crazy.
That uniform matchup would have been nuts.
Yeah, it would have been the best.
I don't know if I would have been able to handle that.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, I think we're all on the same page, I think we're being realistic. We're not favored. So I don't think it's crazy of us to say, we could probably drop this game. We've had more good fortune these past 2 weeks than we've had in the past 20 years. So
Exactly.
At minimum, you have to split the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Go 5-3.
Yeah.
5, ideally 6
Yeah.
and 2, but wishful thinking.
I don't care who starts against the Cardinals. You should not lose
They're
the
awful.
Cardinals.
They're awful.
That being
They
said,
lost-
Kyler might be back.
He
He
could.
practiced full today.
Yeah, if they lost Zach Ertz, they're on a 3rd-string running back. Just
They
not
won't have
good all
Ertz. They won't have Ertz or James Conner for that game.
or their safety.
Buddha?
Can't think of his name. Buddha Baker. I think he's on IR.
He came back, right?
Is he?
I think so.
They activated his window. Cam
His
Thomas is
window.
going nuts again.
Of
Bro
course.
just drains threes. Cavs 35-31 nearing the end of the first. Crazy game so far.
Yeah, Cavs are just
My Max Strus bets are looking decent right now. I think I got to check the box score.
Speaking of betting,
2 threes already.
let's see if we can go 3 straight weeks hitting our boost. Hit last week. That would be nice.
Yeah, it's just tough. I don't know. I'll have to look at the lines. The person I was really liking on offense was I don't like Amari this week with Witherspoon. I like Njoku and Elijah Moore. I think quick passes over the middle or quick passes outside are the only thing PJ will really be able to rely on. I could see Elijah Moore getting 7-8 catches for 50 yards. Nothing crazy. It's hard to forecast a stat line for Kareem because he's going to get a workload that he hasn't really gotten yet. So, and he's not 100% either.
We're talking about just players in general. What do you do? What do you do with DPJ with less than a week to the deadline?
I don't know. Maybe a swap with another expiring contract.
They haven't used him, and 2, he's not getting extended here. I love DPJ, everything he's done. This is last year in Cleveland.
Yeah,
sure. It is.
And we're not using him. What's he have? 2 catches or 4 catches on the year, if that?
Yeah, it's not a lot.
No, I think we all. Well, I mean, also I think we all expected a healthy Watson and no bullshit. And
Same.
I'm sure his stat line would look a lot better because his best game was the Titans game when Watson had his best game.
Which is fair, but even last year, he had Jacoby as his quarterback. He would hit 1 or 2 deep shots a game.
I just think Jacoby's a lot different than a PJ Walker off the couch, sadly.
Yeah, that's fair.
DPJ through 6 games has 18 targets. He has 8 catches for 97 yards.
Wow.
Ew.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he ain't getting any money here. Might get money on.
Nope.
He's not, for sure.
You never know. But yeah, I mean, I think, like we said, if you go drop this game, you just gotta regroup, come back home, and beat the Cardinals, and we just gotta hope that Watson's ready to go by then. But I just think it's kind of malicious to think to just assume that he's gonna come back and look fine against the Ravens. I mean, he's played 10 games in 3 years. He had 1 good game against the Titans finally, and now he's just fell back off. I think mentally it's kind of going down a little bit. I hope he stays off the internet.
Everyone around him.
Yeah, I
doubt it.
They won't, but
yeah,
if he, if anything else, he just needs to not make sure he doesn't say anything because at the end of the day, the people around him are grown-ass men, and if they have a feel way and say something, then that's on them. It's a bad reflection to him, but it would be a lot worse if he was tweeting back at people.
Right.
100%.
Remember Baker was tweeting? That's just the end all be all. So yeah. I saw him. He's been putting Bible verses on Instagram and inspiring quotes and stuff. I think he's going through it a little bit.
Who, Baker?
No, Watson.
Oh, Watson. Oh.
Which I'm sure he's going through it. I mean, he had high hopes too. He doesn't, like Kyle said, he doesn't want to be hurt.
Right.
No, yeah. Greg Newsom said it the other day on Twitter. He said people act like players want to be hurt. Obviously nobody wants to be hurt, but unfortunately that's just the situation we're in.
Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, when you get a lingering shoulder injury, there's nothing more frustrating for a quarterback. So, I mean, I feel for him on that level, and I respect him for trying to play last week. He obviously wasn't ready. It ended up being a lose-lose situation because if he wouldn't have went, people would have judged him for it. And the fact that he did go, now people have more fire against him to, formulate their negative opinion and throw negative energy at him. But
let me ask you guys this: at what point do you shut him? Do you get to the point where you shut him down for the year? I don't think it's crazy to discuss. We're going on over a month now.
I think if he comes back for Arizona or the Ravens and he still looks like he can't get velocity down the field or even get any zip, that might be it.
That would surprise me.
I just don't with them saying it all depends on the pain and the mobility. I wouldn't be surprised if that did happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was never actually put on IR.
Right.
He might just float around on the roster and just be inactive every week. It might be one of those things because if you give him those 4 games and in hindsight now we can say, of course, now we could say, well, they should have just done it. But I mean, would it have changed anything? He didn't re-injure it against the Colts. He didn't make it any worse. He just tried to go and couldn't.
Made it swell back up is what
Yeah.
forget who said it.
Tom
One of the
Pelissero.
reporters out there said it. Yeah, I think it was him. Said it was residual swelling that came back.
And I think in general he's gonna have to play through that at some point if he's gonna play this year anyway.
Right.
It's not gonna be 100%.
That's what people rest is only going to do so much. It's pain tolerance, and I'm not saying he's not tough because we all know he is. Like he played through torn ACL, punctured lung, etc. You name it. But at some point, if you're going to want to play this year, you're not going to be 100% comfortable, and you're just going to have to adjust to that, whatever that looks like.
Yep.
It's 50% pain, 50% mobility, and
It's like
he's lacking in both.
It's almost like a baseball player, basketball player, just any sport you name it. Like you have to adjust to as you get older your limitations. Like right now, he's physically limited because of his shoulder.
Yeah, I think they said the same injury in pitchers. Like you're automatically out like a month and a half. There's just no way.
Kevin said it the other day. He said, "I wouldn't be worth a damn, I wouldn't be worth my weight in salt if I didn't have my team ready. Like have a game plan for the quarterback out there, which is call what you will." Baltimore, we weren't prepared, but we'll see.
Yep.
Yeah, I just want everyone on the same page, and I think it seems like Kevin's starting to kind of put it under control more. And he got us 2 wins when we probably should have had 2 losses. So, hats off to him so far. Yeah, I mean, you just go into Seattle, find a way to win. Any given Sunday, dude.
Every week.
Yep.
It's not like Seattle's a juggernaut. Like they're a good team, but
not at all. We're better than them. 100% a better football team than them.
You got to start off fast so you can get the crowd into it. You got to start fast.
Yeah, control the game.
Yep.
Come out, hit him right in the mouth. Show him not fucking around.
The only positions are better at is receiver and running back.
Yeah,
quarterback like Pete.
Quarterback, yeah.
Geno Smith's not anything great, but
because we're on our 7th string running back.
Right?
Yeah, they don't really have RD. I mean, I really think this could be a super low scoring game, depending on the weather too.
They got Draymond Jones. It's like their only pass rusher.
Yeah, now they got Frank Clark, but dude hasn't played, so I'm not too worried about him. But yeah, you just gotta vibes are high. We'll just gotta stay positive. Yep. Hope they go in, shock us again. If not, you just regroup. You cannot drop that game to the Cardinals, and you just regroup and get the vibes back right, and then you go from there back into the division games, and you just gotta pray that we have some clarity on Watson by then. But
yeah,
going for 3 straight wins since the first time since 2021.
Insane.
Yep, make it happen.
Let's get it.
If anyone could do it, it's this team. So
Yep.
Give us a follow at the links below. You see our names on the screen. You know where to find us. Like and subscribe, share, show some love, and we'll be right back after a Browns win next week. Let's hope 5-2. Go from there. And with that,
Go Browns.
Go Browns.
Go Browns.
See you guys.